We are back with Laura Petherbridge, author of 101 Tips for the Smart Stepmom. And let's talk about the kids. So you fall in love with this wonderful man, or this man's falling in love with this wonderful woman, but there's these other little people that are part of the equation that might not be so excited about your new love.
That's right. Sometimes the kids, especially the really, really young ones, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, they will often embrace a step-parent fairly quickly. It's as they get older, and even if they embrace that step-parent when they were younger, as they get older, they may start to feel that that is being disloyal to their other biological parent. So if I embrace you as my stepmom, that's making my mother mad, or it is making my mother's memory. I'm being disloyal to her memory if she's gone. And so that can be something you do not deal with in a first marriage, is the former spouse. And so you really have to work through, how am I going to co-parent? How am I going to function? And for me, when I got into a step family, I thought, oh, the boys will be with her during her time. That won't affect our home over here. Oh my gosh, how naive and foolish was that? I mean, it totally affected my home. It affects when I put the turkey on the table for Thanksgiving of how we're co-parenting with this other house. So you really need to be informed. Different kinds of things you need to know. If it's a high conflict ex-spouse, it's harder. It's just as simple as that. If it is somebody that wants to co-parent well with you and your spouse, then the steps can be easier. But every circumstance in that is different.
Absolutely. Custody's different,
Yes.
holidays are different, all of that. But what do you do when kids are super hostile towards you and you've just moved into this new situation? What's the best advice you have?
To understand that it may not be you they're angry with. Children have to grieve the death of their parents' marriage. That my parents will never be together again, even if it was an ugly situation, even if the home was violent or there was negative stuff there. They may be glad that the circumstances aren't tense and stressful anymore, but a child always has the dream that my parents will get back together. And so by mom or dad remarrying, that has destroyed that dream. And so it may not have anything to do with you personally, with how you are being as a step-parent. It could just be what you represent. So that's the first thing, is getting into the mind of that child and understanding children of death or divorce. The second thing is to recognize, you know, a lot of people say, well, you have to love your stepchildren exactly the same way you do your own biological kids. You have to be fair with them. You can't favor your own child. That's not right. But to say you're going to love a child that came from another woman's body or another woman with your husband exactly the same way. See, I had to learn to love my stepkids. I had to pray, God, teach me how to love these two children who are not mine. Just because I fell in love with their father didn't mean I was going to automatically fall in love with them. That took time, and it took God. On my own strength, there were many days I didn't even have a desire to do that. I had to say, teach me how to love them. And so 32 years later, yes, I love them. I now have grandkids from that circumstance, and we've done well. But it doesn't mean it was easy breezy, and so I had to understand their pain and why they didn't really want me in the picture. And many times it had absolutely nothing to do with me. Sometimes I was a bad stepmom, as simple as that.
Right. If you're not the perfect parent, you're certainly never going to be the perfect step-parent.
That's for sure.
And I think, too, you know, when you look at those kids, like falling in love with them is easy when they're most charming, or maybe it's easier.
Right.
But generally, you're not going to see that side of them when they're kind of fighting your presence, which would be the natural thing for kids to do initially, I think.
Yes. And to them, you pose a threat. You took my parent away. You have come in between me and my parent. Now, we don't think like that. Adults don't think like that. But a child recognizes, I used to be in the front seat, me and my dad, me and my mom, and now you just came in and I got thrown back to the back seat. See, in a first marriage, that's okay. That's normal. That's natural. Mom and dad and I sit in the back seat. But when you become a single parent, the child moves up to the front seat. Emotionally, I'm talking. And then when you get remarried, if you don't put your spouse in that front seat, the marriage will die. So the child has to lovingly be put back in the back seat. And guess who has to do that? Not the step-parent, the biological parent. If the step-parent tries to do that, that's when you've got big disaster.
Wow. So it's not just help for the step parent, it's the actual original parent too needs to
Oh,
be part of this
yes.
process and learning.
Because they feel badly. They feel badly their child is experiencing this.
I know. Well, we're out of time, but just for any step parents that are watching this right now, do you have a quick word of encouragement for
Yes.
them?
God will teach you how to be a step parent. I didn't think I could learn to be a good step parent, but I had to say, God, teach me how to love, how to sacrifice. You know what it is to be rejected, Jesus. You have taught me how to understand when I'm being rejected, and that I'm going to do this for you. Not for a reward, because I may not see that, but for a higher purpose. And so I just encourage them to understand, and you can thrive as a step family, it just takes time.
Well, thank you so much for sharing everything you learned on your journey. I hope that it makes some of the challenges that you had to undergo without that help worth it, that you can help so many people now. Thanks for doing that.
Purpose to the pain.
Loved having you here.
Thank you.
If you are a step parent and this is your reality and you just need a little help and encouragement in the journey today and know that you're not crazy and you're doing your best and God is with you and this can work, please give our prayer lines a call. We're here to support you any way that we can and pray with you and just cheer you on in whatever journey you're in. The number's 1-866-273-4444. We'll be right back.